Hello, what is up all of you beautiful subscribers? Welcome back to the Chapple Show. So what does it take to get into the 1% as a millennial and in your age category? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Because, why am I saying this? Why the age category? Why millennials? Because you hear the 1% number. To get into the 1% as the average American, for the average working American, it's like $400 and something thousand dollars, $420,000, whatever the number is, okay? But that does not account for your age group. What if you're 25? What is the 1% of a 25-year-old? What is the 1% of a 34-year-old or, a 40-year-old? What is the 1% for all of those? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to give you guys a guess here. Oh, sorry, I just shook the table. I'm going to give you guys a guess here. All right, we're going to start off at age 25 because for the most part, if you're below the age 25, you're not making that much money. And, you could be in the 1% as an 18-year-old if you make, 50 grand a year or 60 or 70 grand a year. So as a 25-year-old, what do you think it takes to be in the 1% of gross income earners? I'll give you a second here. That number is $116,000. That doesn't seem too bad. For a lot of you, that may be a little bit intimidating, right? A lot of you, that may be intimidating because maybe you're 22, 23, 24 years old like me, and maybe you're just graduating, you just went into a job where you make 40K a year or 30K a year. Okay. Well, I'll give you guys some hope at the end of this video here, actually. So the average, to be in the 1% for 25-year-olds, $116,000. I have to pass that next year. I mean, I have to. I'm not going to allow myself not to do that. So, I could pass that this year, theoretically. We'll see what happens here. So, as a 26-year-old, $123,000, that's the 1%. We're going to just blow through some of these here. Okay, so let's go to 29 years old. What do you think it is for a 29-year-old? What do you have to earn to be a part of the 1% there? And that number is $160,000 for a 29-year-old. Okay, so we're going to jump up to 33-year-old. What do you think it takes to be in the 1% as a 33-year-old? All right, we're just naming out some random numbers here. This is $231,000. Now what do you think the age is where we see the biggest jump? This is very interesting. Where do you think that we see the biggest jump of what it takes to be in the 1%? There's actually a massive one here. Age 35 to 36 is the big year, apparently, of your life. Usually, when you turn 36, that is where you know whether you're going to be rich or you're not going to be rich, in your adult life. All right? So, what does it take to get into the 1% as a 36-year-old? It takes $356,000 per year. And again, this number goes up. I'm not going to list out all the rest of these here, but this number goes up to a peak of $458,000 by the time you're 45. All right, now it's kind of funny is that when you're 62, 63, 64, that number goes up to almost $500,000 to be a part of the 1% here. So what does this all mean? Well, what this does mean is that when you are young, to be a part of the 1% of your age group, it only takes really $110,000 to do it. $116,000. For me, I hope, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit $100,000 this year. Minimum, 80 grand or something like that. At the very best, who knows? My website does really well when I launch it. If I launch it, by the end of the year, who knows? That number could be freaking 400 grand. Who really knows, right? So I want to give some hope to you guys. A lot of you people are out there and you guys are just graduating, or maybe you're 28 years old and you're making 40 grand or 30 grand or 20 grand. You have a part-time job, you just graduated, maybe you're still in school, you're going back to school and you're only making 30 grand a year. All right, so I'm going to give you guys some hope here. For me, I was sick and dying in the hospital, not exaggerating, about 2 years ago. About 2.5 years ago. My net worth was, I had to spend all my money to pay for drugs and prescriptions and all that. I know Canada healthcare is free. I know the hospital stay is free, but everything you get on top of that, once you get out of there and you have to be on drugs, that's not free. So all of that money I earned when I was 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, all of that went away. My net worth was, essentially a few $100s at one point. Even probably less than that. I wasn't making any money. I had to leave my job, obviously, because I was sick. And even though I left before then. And, up until even a year and a half or 2 years ago, my income was like what? When I was still in school, it was like 20 grand of passive income, $20,000. And so you can change what I'm trying to say here is that you can really change your life in just a couple of years, guys. In just a couple of years. I mean, for me, 2 years, essentially going from 20 grand to 100 in gross income this year. My net will be much, much lower because I'm doing that on purpose to pay lower taxes. But my gross income, if I wanted to make this all net, I could. It's going to be close to 100,000. All right, so I want you guys to have hope here. So you got to find a way to increase your income somehow. I talk about this a lot, but what do you really have to do? You have to start a side hustle, guys. Whatever your job you're at right now, the most important thing you can do to increase your income is to get a side hustle. Screw advancing in that career, okay, for now. Start a side hustle and then kind of balance, increasing your business and then increasing your career path, okay? That's what you guys have to do. Start whatever your side business is. Again, like if you're an art major and you're a graphic designer and you're at you're working at some company, start selling stuff on the side. Start becoming an art teacher on the side. Start uploading YouTube videos and Twitch videos. Start learning how to sell stuff on Amazon. Start learning how to sell stuff on my site, which I'll release the name very soon because I picked it officially. Find ways to make that extra little bit of money. I mean, it's really scary because I guess I gotta be the 1% of my age. All right, I'm 23 years old. It doesn't tell you what the 1% is for a 23-year-old. I have to be in it based on the trajectory of that. And it's not enough. I don't want you guys to think I'm greedy or anything, but it's not enough. It's not enough to live the life you want to live. For me, I don't really complain ever. You guys never hear me complain. I'm very comfortable. I live a very fortunate life for someone that's my age, and I'm doing well. But this is not my dream life yet. It is a lot of people's dream lives, but I have very, very high expectations for myself, and that's what you guys got to do too. When I started this, before I launched any side businesses that did really well, here's what I wanted to do. I kind of gave up on the side hustle. I don't talk about this a lot. I kind of gave up on building businesses when I was in beginning of fourth year university, end of third year university, somewhere around there. I kind of gave up. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to settle for this $40,000 a year job. I want to become a real estate investor. So maybe, if I can save up this 40 grand, if I could save up, a few $1,000s a year over the next 10 years, maybe I could buy my first investment property by the time I'm 30. By the time I am 30. All right? You know what it took? It took me raising my standards and upping my confidence before anything started to go really well. I seriously remember that. I would have been happy with a 40 grand a year job that I hated, that I could save up a little bit of money with. That wasn't too long ago for me, guys. That was not too long ago. That is so weird to think about. And then eventually I woke up. I was like, okay, I got to make more than that. I can accelerate my life. I just have to work hard. I got to start some businesses. I got to start some side ventures, some commission-based jobs. I got to do what I can. I got to start selling. That's why I got my real estate license. That was the first step. And then I did that for a while, and I launched a bunch of businesses on the side too. Eventually, 2 years later, voila, my expectation now, I think I've talked about it with you guys. I have 2 next goals. So I want by the time, I think I'm 26, I want to be making about 400 grand a year. That'd be my end game goal. Who knows if that's going to happen? I don't really know. That's my goal. However, my first goal is I'd like to get to that 250 number, that $250,000 mark. That's my next goal. Hopefully I can do that next year. I have no idea if I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that is my goal. So you guys got to raise your standards too. So theoretically, next year I'll be 24. Next year I'm going to be 24 years old. If I were to make $250K a year, that would put me in the 1% of 35-year-olds. All right? And that would put me in the essentially 0.5% or 0.6% of 25-year-olds, even though I'll be turning 24. So you guys got to up your standards, and you guys got to find a way to make more money. And I'm telling you guys, I know it sounds crazy. I know a lot of you are like, why is he setting his goals so high? Why is he so motivated? He should be thankful. I am thankful. I am thankful that I'm making a good income right now. I'm very thankful, and I get to live a life that I want to live. But it's not my dream life. And my life right now might be the dream life for a lot of you out there. I don't really know. But I think one of the reasons why I'm doing okay right now and why I'm partially successful is because I keep raising the bar. I have a talk about this in the Wealth Accelerator program about the moving target, about how whenever you get close to a goal or whenever you hit a goal, immediately moving to a higher goal that is going to be difficult to attain, that's what keeps you happy, and that's what keeps you motivated, and that's what keeps you growing as a person and in business. And for me, that's one of the things. I mean, for me, I launching everything here. I'm launching another e-commerce, marketplace. And, just a few months ago, I didn't even have the idea for this. I had already been doing YouTube and courses and affiliate marketing and selling stuff and all that stuff. And consulting, I always forget about that. Fuck, this is always a time-consuming one. But what I'm trying to say here is that always try to keep moving on to new things. Always keep learning, always keep developing new skills, and always keep trying to, I know I don't want this to sound greedy to a lot of you out there, but the pursuit of wealth, this is something I talk about too in the Wealth Accelerator, is that the pursuit of wealth is not something that should be viewed as greedy. It should not be. A lot of people say, when I tell people that one of my main motivators, one of them, or one of my top 2, 3 at least, is money. I like money. I like having money. I like having resources. Because that gives you freedom. Money is freedom. So the pursuit of wealth, Kevin O'Leary says it's noble. I don't know if it's noble, but it shouldn't be viewed as greedy. Because think about what money can do. What money can do for you, it can do for your family. Grant Cardone says how he wants to be the biggest donor at his church every year. $1 million, whatever he donates. And for me, I talk about the rising tide in it too, about how, if you were to become wealthy and you were to make money and be a part of whatever the 1%, it's not just your life that gets better. It is everyone around you who you care about, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, your kids, your parents, your whatever, even cousins, if you like them. Their lives can get a lot better if you have a lot of resources. You're able to help them out. Maybe some of them, maybe you give one of them a vacation, right? Maybe you were able to buy some of them a crappy car that they couldn't afford so that they can actually get a better job or go to, what I'm trying to say here is that a rising tide, if you make yourself better, a rising tide lifts all boats. I'm not talking about macroeconomics, trickle-down economics. I'm not talking about that. That's a whole different debatable discussion. I'm talking about on the individual level. The rising tide lifts all boats for the people around you. You make money for yourself. You become wealthy. You become a part of that 1%. You pursue wealth. Everyone around you's life will get better. As long as you don't turn into a dick, by the way. If you turn into a dick, then, that happens sometimes, right? But, they might not like you as much, their lives might get worse. But if you stay the same as a person, except with more resources, that makes your family's life better, your friends' life better, your parents' lives better, your kids' lives better, and so on. So I'm really tired whenever I talk about how, I do like money. It's one of my motivators. I have other ones too, but it's one of them. And people say well, why do you need that much money? And the other thing too is that pursuing it's fun. That's the other thing for me is that a lot of you, if you're watching this right now, when you get money and you make a sale, you get a paycheck, whatever, you have this especially if you're an entrepreneur. I'm going to talk about this. Maybe I'll close the video out like this. If you built some sort of small business, if you're selling stuff online, you're investing in stocks, maybe you had a good gain, you sold it off, you had a good gain. Maybe you invested in something, it did well. Maybe you built up a company, whatever it may be. That first dollar you receive from something that you built or you invested in, it makes you feel 1,000,000 times better than a $1,000 paycheck that you get or a $2,000 paycheck you get from your boss from just working 40 to 80 hours. I can't even explain what that is like. And it's fun. When you make money on your own and it's in a creative way, it's fun. That's a part of life. Part of life is just being distracted and having fun and enjoying what you're doing. And, a lot of people, maybe just a few percentage of the population have that gene like I do, where you just like it. It's just fun. Now, as long as you do it in a moral way too, in an ethical way, which I always say, you don't be screwing people over, don't be stealing money. Do something that contributes to society. That'll make you feel so good about yourself, guys. at the end of the day. So this video is a little bit too long here. I wasn't planning on talking about mindset or anything like that. This was just supposed to be a 1% stats video, but I just went in a completely different direction. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. So again, thank you very much for watching. If you're interested in more, check out the Wealth Accelerator or the stock market program. Links in the description below. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. You're all very beautiful people, and I'll see you guys in the next video.